Welcome to Timeball Games. I'm ELD, here to ask you for help in growing the channel. When we reach 2,500 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away a custom leather playmat to one lucky subscriber. So be sure to like and subscribe. Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Timeball Games in Bellingham, Mass. We have a battle of control decks here. Pyle Souza on Grixis control versus Connor on Miracles. Underground Sea powering out a Brainstorm. Fetchland shuffling away the worst of it. Optimizing the hand early. Lots of answers in Grixis, and they're not going to need many of them versus Miracles. There's a saying, there are no wrong questions, only wrong answers when it comes to Magic, and it looks like True Name Nemesis is going to be a threat that Connor will have to deal with. It is landed, and Swords to Plowshares will not do. Council's Judgment actually answers that True Name, so Connor so far answers lining up with threats. And now a Force of Will on Jace the Mind Sculptor. Can he continue to have all the answers? Jace of his own. That sticks, and a Fate Seal shows a Badlands. Gonna try and keep Kyle off of black mana, or red mana. However, he's got the Angar's Rampage, which clears the Jace for only 2 mana. Such a versatile main deck slot, able to handle artifacts, creatures, or planeswalkers for only 2 mana. And the 2 mana often preferable as it can get around Chalice of the Void. Portent. And now 6 mana. Both players building a mana base. Continued to make their land drops. You go far enough back to the Control Players Bible, way back in the day, Oscar Tan, Theory Crafting, and the first person to miss their land drop is going to lose the match when you're playing Control. Snapcaster, and actually gets pushed through with a Force of Will for an AK at 2. Portent takes a look again. Snapcaster with AK may feel good in the short term, though you do miss out on the really big payoffs for accumulated knowledge later on. It's possible Connor not as worried about that massive card advantage. So this AK is only for 2 instead of 3, as the other one got exiled. So back-to-back AK for 2s. Baleful Strix staring down this Snapcaster. Value creatures all over the battlefield right now. Tons of basic lands. And now Jace the Mind Sculptor. He Fate Seals himself, keeping him out of bolt range. Fatal Push kills the Snapcaster Mage, and Baleful Strix chips away at Jace. That is going to be a very long time to a Jace ultimate, going up 1 at a time. So he opts to Brainstorm and fetch. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Such a powerful card, and these days is just kind of considered fair at 4 mana. Swords to Plowshares takes out that Baleful Strix. Kyle makes his land drop and passes the turn, facing down a Jace the Mind Sculptor with an empty board. It's a dicey proposition here. He may need to consider the clock, and we'll see how long he allows this to go on for. He's going to need to win games 2 and 3, and if there's not a good enough chance for game number 1, he may have to scoop it up, and he does exactly that. Unsurprising. A very solid player with an excellent understanding of tournament mechanics. Could he possibly win that? Absolutely. Totally within the realm of possibilities. However, the percentage does not weigh well against the fact that pursuing that almost certainly means that he will not have enough time to play 2 more long games. And these absolutely can become long games, and Miracles very often does best when it intentionally goes for the deep waters. If Miracles has to play faster to try and win their matches for the next 2 games with some speed, that can really make a big difference. So winning game 1 would be super comfortable just sitting back and playing a super long game 2 and really give itself the best chance to win game 2. Putting Connor in a situation where no matter what, he'd be getting at least a draw. So Pyle going to try and find a way to actually get 3 match points out of this, giving himself enough time. And we're going to go ahead and skip the shuffling, as OBS actually allows that now. All right, Pyle leading right out as soon as Connor put that bottom card on the library. He's firing off a Ponder, trying to move towards a victory in game 2 to force a game 3. Ponder on Connor's side of the table, playing at a good pace. But the clock is favoring him, though this Hymn to Torok can turn this around in a real hurry. Looks like a Dovin's Veto and a Council's Judgment. Some high-quality cards. In this control mirror, an uncounterable counter. And an answer to a very difficult-to-answer True Name Nemesis. And really any problem permanent Pyle might have, even Planeswalkers. A bunch of dual lands so far. Baleful Strix, cantrips into a Scalding Tarn. At least has access to a single basic if Connor does manage to jam something like back to basics here. Though this Tundra signals otherwise. Jace the Mind Sculptor coming down now. Will this stick? With that Council's Judgment and Dovin's Veto cleared. Oh, and now he's actually able to Snapcaster. That gets Force of Willed. Snapcaster would have equaled a Dovin's Veto, countering the Jace. Another Underground Sea is added, and Connor now has a Jace of his own. Brainstorming now for Pyle. My favorite interactions I've seen with Jace is, I think it's Lingify. Turns a permanent into a basic forest, and then copying that land with Thespian Stage or Vesuva. That is pretty hilarious for non-blue decks to have an option to actually play with Jace. He is pretty good in lands. Pyroblast takes out Miracle's Jace, and Connor continues to Fate Seal. It's really going to be difficult for Connor to find a card that'll actually clear this opposing Jace. Snapcaster probably his best option, but it's very mana intensive. Snapcaster would allow for a flashback Council's Judgment. Accumulated Knowledge, and now we've got a Snapcaster Pyro. Dovin's Veto is going to force the issue, and 2 cards going through, and now a Portent. An awful lot of stuff here for Connor during his main phase, going all out to try and find a way to not lose to this Jace here in game 2. Pyle ponders. He's got a Snapcaster to defend this Jace. We'll see if he even decides to start attacking or if he's just going to keep it back. He will. Hardcast Force on Jace. Not a lot of reason to keep that Snapcaster home. Really, any type of flash creature would likely have flying, something like a Brazen Borrower or Vendilion Click. Snapcaster will not help out with that. We've got a Hymn to Torok clearing Connor's hand and probably all of his hope to win this game. Ooh, Mystic Sanctuary. That is spicy. Council's Judgment going on top. Oh, the devastation during the draw step before his first main. Colgan's Command, shock your face, make you discard a card, and Pyle picks up game number 2, forcing game 3 with what feels like plenty of time. What are we, about 10 minutes in on the clock? Coming up on 11 minutes. That's probably about 22 plus shuffling. They got plenty of time here for game number 3. That scooping decision in game number 1 looking very, very correct now. There should be plenty of time to find a way to victory in game number 3. Very exciting. Alright, so Connor starting off with a mulligan, also on the play, so this Thoughtseize getting Spell Pierced, very helpful. Counterbalance comes down. Hymn to Torok gets past this counterbalance, leaving Connor with only 1 card. So Thoughtseize traded 1 for 1. And now Connor only 1 card left in hand. Hymn to Torok so damaging. Narset counterbalance completely letting Connor down. We'll see if he shuffles this land away or if he'll opt to draw the 4th card, the 4th land. If so, I'd be surprised. Let's see. What did he... I don't know that he fetched. I missed that. Keeping that feels like he has to have Jace in hand. I mean... Oh, it is Jace. There we go. So Jace, the last card in hand. The only reason you'd want to keep that 4th land on top. And now Ponder making an absolute mockery of this counterbalance. Pyle just ready to jam that Pyroblast before he even draws the card off of the counterbalance, off of his Ponder. And he actually clears the counterbalance, leaving the Jace. It Fate Seals himself. Narset is going to brick so many cards. And really, I mean, Jace is not very good underneath Narset. All you can really do is Fate Seal, as your Brainstorm is a disaster. Angarth Rampage cleared that Jace. And now Connor, even with plenty of time left in the game, knows he has got no resources left. Narset on board, going to dig Pyle just further and further towards victory and extends the hand with Grixis winning a very hard-fought control matchup. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.